Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mila Baraika. Today I'm looking at, I'm doing a study that I've titled From the Arnon to the Kishon. Okay? I've already done Heshbon to Hamarchadon. So it's kind of interesting to see geographical spots. And today I'm looking at creeks or brooks or canyons and stuff like that to give us a little insight as to the work of God on the physical face of the earth, or physical face of the land there. And so it's an interesting study. Arnon Kishon, okay? Something big happened at the Arnon when the Israelites were approaching the Promised Land, and something big has also happened at the Kishon. Battles with Sisera and battles with the priests of Baal and so forth, also alongside the Kishon. So interesting spots, interesting teachings we see based on these place names here. Incidentally, these are emphatics, okay? So you got Arnon, the real Arnon, and Kishon, the real Kishon, okay? Anything O-N is an emphatic, so. And in fact, I've included a few of the English emphatic: caldron, cannon, canyon, canyon. So you have O's on the end here. They probably came in from Latin languages, and then we kept them in English as well, so as emphatics. And we'll start with Arnon, okay? Arnon. Arnon, by the way, means rushing stream, okay? In a sense, it's onomatopoeia. Rom, I see the waters that flow through the place have some sound to them. Misham nazu Yechanun, and then from there they picked up, they set out. Nasa, this is also a nasa verb, in other words, picking up. They're picking up their tent pegs, they're picking up their stuff. This is a part of the travel sequence of the Israelite people crossing on the Transjordan. So they're getting over here to the Arnon. So Misham Nasa, they lifted up, Nachalu, and then they camped, Me'aber, from across Arnon, okay, from across the Arnon, Asher, which, Bamidbar, in the desert, Ha Yotse Mig Gabul, which reaches out, goes out. Yotse is to extend outwards, okay, Yotse, or spew out or extend out. Megabul, from the border. Ha Emorim, from the Amoreos, from Ha Emori, from the Amoreos, the Amorites, yeah. Ki Arnon Gebul Moab, because the Arnon is the border of Moab. And it was when Moab was quite a bit stronger, it would go north of the Arnon, and what was weak would be in the south of the Arnon. So this was it's considered then the border, which north of the border was considered territory of the Amorites. So Bain Moab, and between Moab, Ubain Emori, and between Moab and between the Amorites. We see here numerous emphatics, okay? Heshbon, the place of lots of thinking, lots of planning, lots of plotting, okay? Hashev is to think about, plot out, okay? Heshbon, the place of lots of plotting. Shihon, the king that's doing lots of plotting, okay? So that's also an emphatic here. Moab, this is not exactly emphatic, it just means from the father. Arnon, so, and the Arnon, the place with the rushing stream in the middle of the Grand Canyon of the Transjordan. So a big, impressive place. If you've seen it, get a chance to see it, or you can look it up also in pictures if you don't want to spend that much money getting over there. And so Numbers 31:28, Ki Esh Yatsa, and the fire went out. Okay, this is not the border going out, this is the fire going out, Yatsa. Me Heshbon, from Heshbon, Lecheba, flame, Mekiriat Shihon, and the city, flame from the city of Shihon. Ochla, ate up Moab, ate up out of Moab, consumed, I guess, yeah, it's consumed. This ochal is to eat. And if you have here a sandwich in front of you, you'd be eating, but if consumed, if you're consuming an entire countryside. Achla, Moab. Bale, the chiefs, heads, the Baals, Bale, Bamot, of the heights, Arnon, of the heights of Arnon. That brings us to the Kidron. Kidron is the little valley, or well, extensive valley actually, that runs alongside the east edge of the city of Jerusalem. So it joins the valley of Hinnom, and then it continues. The Kidron continues all the way up to the Dead Sea. And at one point, when David had to flee from the attacks of his son Absalom, he was heading out. He got down to the Kidron, and this was a place where, wow, lots of weeping, lots of. So the Kidron is symbolic of something big happening. Kol haaretz bokim kol gadol. All of the land was crying out in a great voice. Bekol ha'am aborim. All of the people were crossing over. Behamelech over. So the king crossed over. Everybody's crossing. Then the king crossed over. Nahal Kidron, in the valley, in the crossing, the valley of Kidron. Kidron also is kind of a dark, dingy place. Okay, it took on quite a negative sense because a lot of the idols and if there were idols in the city of Jerusalem, they throw them down into the valley of the Kidron. So Nahal Kidron, Bekol Ham, and all the people Obrim are also crossing. We saw that already here. Obrim. So same thing again. And this phrase is exactly repeated here. Kol ha'amam ovrim al fnei derech, on the face of, on the top of the road, derech, nice segolate here, et ha-midbar, which was heading out into the desert, out into the Judean desert. So from here, after you cross the Kidron, you had to go up the hill on the other side. This part of the hill had some really bad reputation because of the pagan idols that were on it. But then when you crossed over the top, you're on your way through the Judean desert. We also find the Gihon. Gihon is gusher. Okay, this is the spring that provided the source of water for the city of Jerusalem all the way back from prior to the Israelites, all the way back to the Jebusites. They set up 4 very large towers to protect the Gihon, the gusher. So it's the big gusher with the O on. Okay. And this is a little report of Hezekiah blocking the tunnel of the upper Gihon. Now, translators sometimes tie this Ha-Elyon, okay, to the opening here, the Maso. But I like to keep it tied to Gihon Ha-Elyon because it means there was probably another Gihon, although it's not mentioned specifically, but there probably were other springs a little bit further on down. Okay, so we'll keep this one as the upper Gihon. Hu Heskiyahu, this is the Heskiyahu, Hezekiah. Shatam, he stopped it up. He did Satan to it, okay? Boom, Shatam. Et Moza, the opening. Me Gihon, okay? Me Gihon, from the waters of Gihon. Ha Elyon, from the top one, okay? Notice that Elyon is also a superlative, okay? And we find it in the phrase Elyon, okay? So Elyon is something very much identified with Jerusalem, okay? All the way back to King Melchizedek. So Gihon Ha-Elyon, Yaserem, and he sent them out, okay? Sent them on its way, okay? Le Mahat, from the below, okay? This is a variation of Tachat, okay? Le Mahat, Mata, Areva, and this is to the Erev. Erev is the setting sun, okay? The west, okay? So if you got Ma'ereva, so to the west side or to the setting sun side, Le'ir, to the city of David. Yetzala, and was being successful, Eskiyahu, Hezekiah, Bekol Mashu, in all of his doings, okay? So this doings is derived from Ayin Sin He, to do something, and this is all of his doings of him. Brings us to the valley of Ayalon, Hemek Ayalon, the valley of the deer, and Yeku, Yom Hahu, Bafilishtim, Mikmas, Elyonna, Ve'af Ha'am Meod. Okay, and they struck down on that day the Philistines from Mikmash all the way to Elyon. Directional hay on the end of Elyon right here, so that's why there's still Aholam Nun here, but Alion, the place of the deer. And it's the appropriate name because we're getting out into the scrub land, which is south of the highland, and this will be a good place for deer. And the people were very hot in their faces. They were completely exhausted. What we see here very much is they were flat on the ground, facing the ground because of their exhaustion. This incidentally is the route that Joshua also followed when he defeated the Canaanites, but here Saul is defeating the Philistines. Brings us to the Kishon. Kishon is the valley that's up there in Jezreel is in the valley of Armageddon. Megiddo is on one end of it, Beit Shan is on the other end of it, and so although when you get to the eastern end of it, they tend to call it the Harod. So it's all sort of one system up there, all along. Mount Carmel ends it on the western end, and Beit Shan ends it on the eastern end. So Kishon, and two big battles, of course, numerous big battles actually alongside the Kishon. But the one that interests us is the one that we read about in Judges. And here we have Deborah singing what happened to the Kishon. Okay, and here at the Nahal Kishon, we have Nahal Kishon, Gerampham, and swept them away. Nahal Kishon, Kedumim, okay, that's the valley of the ancient river. Nahal Kishon, Tid Rechi, Nafshi, Oz, okay, and derech is to have a road, have a walkway, okay. Derech, see it quite commonly as a noun, but this one is a hortatory verb, okay. My soul, take that walkway, take that pathway, okay, to victory, okay. So it's a very beautiful passage here. The Kishon is a place in which, when it's dry, the world wins. Okay, so Sisera and his chariots with all of his horses, he was about to beat up on all the Israelites who were gathered there under Deborah, but the Lord made it rain, and when it rains, you can't use chariots in the mud, and so wow. And we also saw with Elijah, it was dry. And when it was dry, the prophets of Baal were winning. But when it rained, it was an indication of the victory he had in Jehovah. So there's a tremendous difference there. And so Kishon has this symbolism that in the world, when it's dry, okay, the world's winning. But when the Lord works, he brings his victory. And so it might seem, in other words, what we can learn from this in a spiritual sense, a real sense actually, is that at times it looks like Sisera, he's got the upper hand, but the Lord makes it rain, boom, he's washed away, he's wiped out, and it's the end of him. Prophets of Baal, they got the upper hand, but then God sends rain on the land, and Elijah has the upper hand. Didn't last for very long, but he came to know that he got the victory through Jehovah. Great teaching we have here from Kishon. Okay, Kishon, when it's dry, well, the world's winning. When it's wet, the Lord has showed his power. And we have to recognize that. In this world, it often seems like the world has the power, but Jehovah most certainly can change things in a big hurry when he sends a tropical rainstorm, sends a big heavy rain, and destroys the efforts of humble men. So God bless and God strengthen you in this day, and may you have a blessed day today. Until the next time.